You've watched Loomis tutorials for hours and still can't draw a face. Here's exactly why. Most tutorials show you the steps, but nobody explains the logic behind them. That's what we're fixing today. So let's start from the very beginning. Step 1 is a circle, but not just any circle. This is the foundation of the entire Loomis head. The size doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is that you actually draw it. Most people overthink this part and never start. Now, find the center of your circle. This point sits right between the eyebrows, and everything else builds from here. From that center point, draw a vertical line, but follow the curve of the ball. This line splits the face perfectly in half. Then, from the same point, draw a horizontal line. This is your brow line. And here's where most people make a mistake. This line has to curve with the ball, not go straight across. Now, to complete the basic Loomis ball, we need the side plane. Start at the brow line, right where it meets the edge of the circle. That's your starting point. As for the height of this plane, top and bottom, it covers about 2/3 of the full circle. Not half, not the whole thing, 2/3. Now simply connect those 3 points, and there's your side plane. The Loomis ball is complete. If this looks simple, good, it's supposed to. Most people overcomplicate this part, and that's exactly why they get stuck. Now comes the part that actually makes the face look right, dividing it into equal thirds. Remember that vertical line we drew earlier? We're going to use it right now. Along that line, mark a point level with the top of the side plane. Then mark another point level with the bottom of the side plane. That gives you 2 equal sections. Now, add one more point below, the same distance as the other 2 sections. That's your 3rd equal section. So what do these 3 sections give you? 4 lines. Hairline at the top, then the brow line we already drew, then the nose line, and finally, the chin. 3 equal spaces, and that's what makes a face look proportionally correct. 3 equal thirds. That's the whole secret, and most people skip this completely. We're almost done with the base structure. One last step, the jaw. On the left side, connect the edge of the ball down to the chin line. Simple, straight. Now, the right side is a little different, and this is important. We're not drawing a full profile, we're drawing a 3/4 view. So, instead of connecting from the very middle of the side plane, you connect from about 2/3 across. The jaw line leans slightly toward you. Then, connect both sides down to the chin. And just like that, the head structure is closed. Before we move to the details, let's clean things up. Erase the bottom part of the circle we no longer need. Nice and clean. Now, those 2 blue lines, their job is simple. They define the width of the mouth. They start from the inner edge of the side plane and connect down to the chin line, left and right. Mark the ear next. And as always, the ear sits in the lower quarter of the side plane, on the outer edge. Add simple lines for the neck, just enough to show the position of the body. And before we go into detail, place your initial landmarks. A small circle for the nose projection, 2 ovals for the eye sockets, and mark the mouth position. Everything is now in place. And with that, your Loomis head is fully constructed and ready for details. Now, if you want to go beyond this and learn every angle, every position with a full structured method, the complete course is available now with up to 28% off for a limited time. This course will take you from beginner to confident with the Loomis method in a short time. Click the product image on your screen or the link in the description below. Now let's start building the details, and we begin with the nose. We already placed a small circle for the nose projection. Now add a second circle next to it, slightly smaller. This represents the side of the nose. The 2 circles overlap slightly. Outline the smaller circle on the outside. That defines the darker side of the nose. From where the 2 circles intersect on the inside, draw the nostril, a slightly thicker, dark line. The far nostril is smaller. Because of the angle, it appears further away and less complete. The nose here is kept simple. What matters is getting the right proportions and understanding how the nose anatomy changes depending on the angle of your model. Once the nose structure is done, add some light shading to the darker areas. just enough to separate the shadows from the light. Now, before we draw the mouth, do you see these two light lines connecting the nose down to the mouth area? These are critical. They make sure the distance between the nose and mouth is exactly right. Not too long, not too short. Now let's draw the mouth, starting with the upper lip. The top line of the upper lip has a slight open V shape in the middle. Pay close attention to the curves here, because these curves define the expression. If the curves are off, the mouth will look distorted and won't match your reference. Once the top line is done, draw the dividing line between the lips. This line is slightly darker than the rest. Then move to the bottom lip. The order is simple. Top line of the upper lip, then the dividing line, then the bottom lip line. Always follow this sequence. Add some light shading below the lower lip, and a little shading inside the mouth area as well. In this reference, the model is wearing dark lipstick, so I'm giving the mouth a slightly darker value to capture that effect. The mouth is one of the simplest elements in the face. It doesn't take much time. The only thing you need to focus on is the outer outline. Get that right, and the mouth is done. Once the mouth is done, let's fix the left cheek area. Right now it's too straight, so I'm adding some subtle curves to give it a more natural shape. Then I'm adding some hatching strokes in the shadow areas, keeping it simple and controlled. And don't forget the shadow area under the jaw. This area is very important. It's what gives the face dimension and makes it feel three-dimensional instead of flat. To finish the lower section completely, we just need to add the blouse she's wearing. Only a small part will show, the neckline and shoulder area. I'm focusing only on the outer outline, not the inner details. The small details inside the clothing don't matter here and won't add anything to the drawing. Add some light hatching strokes for the shading. Same technique as before, nothing different. Now let's move up quickly and work on the eyebrow. Let's start with the left eyebrow. It's smaller because it's not fully visible from this angle. It connects to the nose line at the top. I'm keeping the same shape, thick on the outside, thinner on the inside. Now moving to the right eyebrow. This one is fully visible and has a very distinct curve. Make sure that curve is clear. Pay close attention to the distance between the eyebrow and the nose. Too much space or too little, and it will throw off the entire face. When I drew this eyebrow, I actually thought the space looked too big, but once I added the eye, I realized it was fine. Sometimes you have to trust the process and keep going. And just like that, the eyebrows are done. Easier than you expected, right? Now let's move to the hair. She has a classic hairstyle, as you can see. I always prefer to start with the hair at the front, the strands falling just above the eyebrows. Start there first. Then move to the hairline at the forehead, draw a few strands and add some simple shading. The process is simple. Get the outer shape of the main strand, then the strands on each side. Then add light shading in the darker areas of each strand. The more accurately you place your shadows and highlights, the more defined the hair will look. We're not drawing hair strand by strand here. This is an academic approach. Shapes, values, and structure. Once the top is done, there are a few strands near the mouth and nose. Follow the same curves and length exactly. Don't rush this part. Before we move to the back of the head, let's finish the ear. It's simple and not fully visible because the hair is covering most of it. Now for the hair at the back. The process is exactly the same as the top and the left side. Outer outline first, then some inner details. That's all. If you try drawing hair this way, I think you're going to enjoy it. And now, the most important element, the one that brings the entire face to life, the eyes. Start by drawing a light horizontal line just below the eyebrows. This line is your guide. It makes sure both eyes sit on exactly the same level. Now draw the eye crease, the fold that sits just above the upper eyelid. Let it touch that horizontal line. This curve is everything. The more consistent it is on both sides, the more natural your eyes will look. Take your time here. Once the crease is done on both eyes, draw the upper eyelid. It follows almost the exact same curve as the crease above it. Now darken that upper eyelid. Give it a solid dark value. Then add the upper lashes. The lashes are not a fixed rule. They depend completely on your reference. Look at your reference and follow what you see. Next, the lower eyelid. This one needs to match the width of the upper eyelid exactly. Not wider, not narrower. The width has to be consistent, otherwise the eye will look unbalanced. Add the lower lashes, and go back and make sure your upper lashes match the reference as closely as possible. Now we draw the iris, the circle inside the eye. Shade it darker at the top where the eyelid creates a shadow, and slightly lighter toward the bottom. Then place the pupil, the dark center point of the eye. Make sure it sits right in the middle of the iris. And here's a small tip that makes a big difference. If you want to add that tiny white highlight inside the eye, use a white gel pen. One small dot, and the eye instantly looks alive. That's a complete eye. Structure, lashes, iris, pupil, and highlight. Every element has its place. To match the reference, this model has freckles, and this part is actually fun. I'm using the same pencil, but this time I'm holding it from the back end. This keeps my hand light on the paper and gives me very soft, subtle marks. Place the freckles where they actually appear, mainly on the cheeks and across the nose. Don't overdo it. Don't make them too dark. If you press too hard, they'll look like flies on the face. Keep them soft and natural. Just let the pencil tip barely kiss the paper. And just like that, the freckles are done. Simpler than you thought. And with that, my friends, we are done with today's lesson. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'll be happy to answer. And don't forget, if you want to take this further and learn every angle, every position, with a complete structured method, the full course is available now with up to 28% off for a limited time. This course will take you from zero to confident with the Loomis Method as fast as possible. You'll find the course link in the description below. Until next time, my friend, keep drawing.